So today we're going to be looking at the Marty Friedman signature SansAmp from Tech 21. This thing is a sturdy little unit. It's not really a multi-effects unit, but it comes with a really great universal 9-volt power supply with a braided cord. We'll get to that in a little bit. Also, the unit itself, it's a decent size. It looks bigger than it actually is on these videos. You can see here when I take out this half size or half sheet size manual that it's the same size as that. There's some swag that comes with it, of course. And to just show the size of the pedal itself, it's a little bit lighter than I expected. It's nice and metal and sturdy, but it's just barely bigger than 2 regular size pedals. We'll see here with 2 regular size pedals and like one of the mini pedals. That gives you a good example of how big it is. So if you're anything like me, Marty's one of your favorite guitarists, and he's undoubtedly one of the most influential metal guitarists of all time. This pedal was made in conjunction with him to be as simple as possible, and while it looks like a multi-effects pedal, it's really not. So you've got 3 tones. It comes with stock as his clean, rhythm, and lead tones. One of the things that makes Marty's playing sound so interesting is he uses a tiny bit of filtering. So you've got this filter knob here that allows you to turn it up. When you turn it all the way up, it's still very subtle filtering. You can toggle that filter with this button right here. There's a noise gate that's built in, 3-band EQ, and then you've got reverb and drive. And again, it's not a multi-effects pedal, so you don't get your choice of different types of drive. There's one kind of drive on here, there's one kind of reverb, and you just kind of turning in the amount of each of those. It's got the 3 presets. You can save up to, I think, 128 of your own. But before we do any of that, before we even look at any of those more advanced features, let's see if we can get something good to come out of this with just the stock sounds. So for this recording, the rhythm guitar is going to be done on the Adam Jones signature Epiphone Les Paul. In the middle pickup position, it's got 11s on it. I'm only going to use the stock presets for 1 and 2. That's Marty's clean and rhythm tones, respectively. And the lead stuff is going to be done on my Yamaha RevStar with 10s on it. It's got P90s, again, middle pickup position. I'm only going to use the 3rd preset or the lead preset on here. For both of them, I will be recording out of the XLR into a Focusrite Scarlett directly into Logic Pro. Hey, very quickly, I want to make sure that I remind you to subscribe if you're digging the content. There's a link in the description to sign up for my Patreon, which is completely free. I'm not just doing gear reviews, but I'm doing some gear giveaways, and that's only to Patrons. Patrons? I don't know how you pronounce it. Whatever. Anyway, let's talk about this thing a little bit more, because it's a really unique pedal, and I'm going to use it. Are you going to use it? Is it right for you? That's kind of up for you to decide, but let's talk about why you may want to use it, because it's got some awesome features as a gigging box, and I think it's missing some key features if you're using it mainly, if you would be using it mainly in your home studio, or if you're more of an Instagram player. So let's take a look at the I/O. You got your input, your MIDI in and out. I'm not going to be using MIDI on this. I'm not really a MIDI guy. Your effects send and return, your 1/4 inch out with a 10 decibel boost. Really nice. You got your XLR out on the side with a ground lift to help with hum. So it's kind of got a built-in DI box. You're not going to need that with this, and that's how I'm going to be using this. This is built rock solid 3 pedals. Marty likes your clean, rhythm, and lead, and that's basically how I'm going to be using it live. And then you can turn the filter on. So you kind of have 6 tones. You get your 3 basic tones with and without the filter, and it's got a tuner if you hold down the filter. I'm not a huge fan of the tuner. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The only effects on it are reverb and a noise gate and the filter itself, so you don't get the delay. Like, it's not a multi-effects unit. It's made to be really simple and to be something with which you can gig, and I think it's great for that. And like I said, I'm going to use it for that. But you might have noticed I didn't say anything about USB. There's no USB on this thing, so there's no way to update the firmware. There's no way to back up your settings. There's no way to use it as an interface for recording, and that's going to be a deal breaker for a lot of people, and I totally get it. But for what I'm going to do with this thing, I think it's absolutely perfect, and I can't wait to get it out there and kind of give it its paces. This is going to be really, really simple to just show up with just this and a guitar and be able to play a gig. So it is the morning after, and I did it last night. I gigged this thing out with my covers band, and I used the XLR out straight to front of house. I wasn't expecting to do this, but I used Marty's 3 default presets. I figured if I was going to give this thing a run, I should do it all the way. And that worked great, specifically for the stuff where you would expect it to work. And it worked on, we play all kinds of different songs with this band, and it worked with all kinds of ones where maybe you wouldn't have expected the tones that Marty had put in here to work. Including what was probably my favorite lead I've ever played on a specific Johnny Cash song. This thing was a total success for me. I should mention that a lot of the versatility here is probably due to the Yamaha RevStar. I love that guitar. It's part of why I got that guitar specifically for a covers band, is you can do so many different tones with it. A quick couple things to notice. First of all, this thing, when I played it into my DAW with headphones or even into this room with my smaller monitor speakers and stuff, did not sound nearly as cool as it did at gig volume at a place, a nice venue. We had a stage. I had my own monitor mix and a really experienced sound person. That helped a ton. It sounded great in that environment. So it is made for gigging like I was expecting. Another couple things to think about is that in the manual it says that you're probably not going to have to dime the knobs to get the tone for what you're looking at full. They're like sometimes their knobs tend to be very hot, so you don't have to turn it all the way up to get what would be fully turned up on something else, which is totally true. I had to be pretty conservative, I guess, with how I was dialing in the knobs. But I found this to be retroactive as well. So for example, with that guitar, playing through the usual solid state amp that I play with this covers band, or with the tube amps that I have, or even my Boss IR2, or the Orange Micro Terror, which I use a lot, like pretty much any other amp setup or amp sim, the Line 6 Pod Express is the same way with this guitar. If I turn the volume down to about 70%, I get a pretty good reduction in dirt. Like it cleans up, maybe not a lot, but it cleans up enough that that's kind of my main tone, and then I'll turn it up to 100 for leads. When I was playing with this thing, I had to turn that knob down to 30%. And then when I get to 50, it would feel pretty hot. And 50 to 100% was pretty similar. So even the way that this thing reacts to the input coming in from your instrument was a little bit different. I know that guitar. I love that guitar. Since I got it, like I said, I got it specifically to play in covers bands. And since I got it, I've gigged it out more than any other instrument. I know its nuances, and I had to kind of relearn a little bit of that for this. Not that big of a deal, but if you're like me and you like to know your instrument and use the volume knobs and stuff, it was something that you should know. Again, there's no USB or anything like that. Oh, I guess one other thing that I wanted to note was, we talked about in the manual how it has spots for saves, because you can't back this up, so it's just write down your knobs, which kind of doesn't really work. By the time I got something dialed in and I save it, I kind of want to, I don't want to spend the time, I'm already having fun with the pedal. I don't want to really spend time to write those all down, find the manual, write them down, and then move on to the next patch. I want to kind of have some fun with it. So I created some patches, and they're just like in the ether, and that's also totally cool. Maybe I'll make cooler ones later. Like, it's fine to throw them out. Just wanted to kind of note that that is a side effect of not having saves. I love the Marty. I'm going to be using this a ton over the next few years. Now, during editing, I realized that I had not talked about the power supply, which is awesome. It's got this braided cable and tons of different adapters that you could use all over the world. Now, I'm not a globally touring musician like Marty, but if I was, I can imagine how helpful this would be. It also clocks in at just under 6 feet, so it's a good length. Back to our regular programming. I love the Marty. I'm going to be using this a ton over the next few years. I guarantee it. So I will not be giving this pedal away, but I am doing other pedal reviews on this channel where I am giving away the pedals that I'm reviewing. And that's for patrons, so sign up on my Patreon. It's completely free. You can sign up over there. There's a link in the description. Otherwise, make sure you like and subscribe so you can get more of these gear reviews. I'm just starting to do gear reviews. For the last couple years, I've been mostly doing guitar lessons. So check those out if you would like as well. They're linked on the channel. And I'll see you around. Keep jamming out there. Cheers.